Today, I'm diving into Pika 2.2. I've been so impressed with what I've been seeing from them lately that I just had to try it out for myself. And it's definitely one of the most insane video generation tools I've tested so far. So let me show you what I've been playing with so you can decide if this is the right video gen tool for you and your style. I'll break down how to use all of their current tools step by step, and I'll show you what makes them so different from everything else out there. Let's go. Let's just jump right into the interface. If you click right here with Pikatwists, it's kind of the default prompt box right here, and it'll ask you to upload a video. Now, what's great about Pikatwists is it's going to take your original footage and then try to morph it in a way that incorporates your prompt. So, for example, I downloaded a bunch of stock footage from pexels.com, and I'm going to take this car upload and just say, I'm going to ask it to constantly change the car color over and over. And I'll hit enter. And that will start generating my image. You'll see it pop up here in the My Library, and that means that your video is generating. Now, at the same time, I can delete this, upload a new video of something that I want to see, and I'm going to take this other video of this van and this woman approaching the van, and I'm going to be a little bit more specific. And I'm going to say the van catches fire and the woman runs away. And I think this is a great example because it's a very specific prompt, where the other one is kind of more vague. It has freedom to kind of choose creatively how to interpret that prompt. This one is very specific. It has to catch fire, the woman has to run away. And then let's do another one that's very just trippy, out of the box. Maybe like in the realm of fantasy. So I have this footage of from the driver's point of view of a guy riding a motorcycle, and I'm gonna add the prompt, add flying whales swimming in the sky. Now all three are generating at the same time. I will come back when they are all done. Okay, so here are our results. First one, the car changing one. You know, it technically did it, but it doesn't look great. Like, I think this could have been a way better color change. And this kind of looks like a bad filter. So I would rate this kind of low. Maybe like technically it's adhering to my prompt, so it's not like a 0, but like maybe like a 3 out of a 10, because it's not really believable in its scene, and it looks like a bad masked filter. So I would say like not convincing at all, not really usable. 3 out of 10. Our van here, it's cool. It did the van, it did a smoke puff. She starts to panic. She doesn't really run away, which is what I asked for in the prompt. Uh, I mean, at least it's believable that she would start panicking and be like, what is going on here? It doesn't do a great job with her face. This is a fully AI generated face, and she also like gets an extra bag that just disappears, and I think she might even get an extra arm at some point. So, not super great, but I do think the part with the car and the fire is like okay. I wish it was like it really caught on fire and stayed on fire. So if this was my shot, I would probably go for another regeneration and see if I could have prompted for the car staying on fire. Um, so I don't know, maybe like a 5 out of 10 for this one. All right, here's my motorcycle one, which I was pretty interested in. Okay, at least they're in the right position and they work with the parallax. Like that is kind of cool. I don't love the look of the whales. Maybe I would have, if I wanted this shot to come out, I would regenerate it again. Probably specify the type of whale, maybe like an orca whale or humpback whale or something, because I don't really know what these are. These kind of have the vague shape of a whale, but they're not really. They kind of have a beak. I don't know. I do like how they look in the scene, though. We can see them kind of getting closer as the guy's driving. They kind of have the right scale, and kind of the right movement. So not a total fail, but worth another regeneration if this was my shot and I wanted to use it. So maybe like a 6 out of 10. I did get better results previously, like instead of trying to do it live. So I'll show you that. This is a test that I had done earlier where I asked her dress to change to a dress with a flower print. And this is probably my most successful one that I've seen. I think it did a really great job here. It did a believable transition, added this flash all by itself. This is something that you would probably have to do this in without AI. You would have to track the camera movement because it's got a little bit of a weird shake to this camera. It actually picked up some reflections in this ball over here with the lighting, so it has some decent lighting, and it actually goes under her hand, which is kind of nice. Like that would have required extra roto masking if you were to not do this in AI. So this is a really nice effect, really advanced, and it tracks with the movement. It looks believable in scene. So this one is like a 9 out of 10. I would say this is really believable. This is great. Um, Much better than the results I did with the live test. No, for reference, here's another one that I tried earlier, and it was to add a volcano in the background. I actually also prompted for lava, which I didn't get, but you can see this explosion. I actually like the placement. It goes in between her arms, which is really nice. Like you could see that it maintains the look of the foreground character. It even adds the depth of the field for the for kind of this lava volcano in the background, and it moves properly with the parallax. Like it's not sliding. It looks like it's believable that this volcano is on this ridge back here, even as the camera's panning. So I think it did a really great job here. This is another, if it had gotten my lava, I would say that would have been like a 10 out of a 10. But because it didn't do the lava, maybe like an 8 or 9 out of 10. But overall, much more impressive than also what I was getting with the live test, unfortunately. Here's one that was fun but not as successful. I asked to change the dog into a giant owl, and it did it. The dog looks a little bit, or the owl, I would say, it looks a little bit unrealistic, but it did it. It overall, it's a pretty cool effect, and it kind of, it's fun. This one was fun. Overall, maybe like a 7 out of 10. Not super believable at the end that that's an owl, but it does look like some kind of like you know, it looks fun and it kind of looks like the dog. The owl does look like the dog. So, maybe even at 8 I would bump it up a little bit. So that this is a fun little test that, you know, was worth checking out. So the next tool on the list is Pikaswaps, which a really cool is a really cool tool. And what it does is instead of Pika twists, where it kind of takes the original video and tries to morph your video into the reference, or whatever you prompt. It kind of tries to take one element and completely replace it with whatever you are describing or you have a reference for. So, for example, if I hit Pikaswaps up here, all the templates will pop up for examples of something you might want to see it do. And you can hit any of these, make it yours, and it will give you the prompt example of what the original video looked like, how they kind of replaced it, and what prompt they used for that. So we're not actually going to use their video example. We'll use our own. And so I'm going to drag in this video of this guy just kind of texting. And I actually want to replace his shirt with this other stock photo that I have of it's just like a graphic tee, like a very yellow one. So the swap will be very obvious. So in this part where it says box, you kind of just describe what you want to see replaced. And in this case, I just want the shirt to be replaced. Now down here, I don't think it needs any additional help because this is like shirt to shirt, but we can add some more text to help it out. So I just wrote replace shirt with graphic tee. We'll hit generate. And if I close this, we'll see that that has started. While that's going though, I'm gonna just throw up another example. So I got this video of this guy kind of smoking a cigarette. I'm actually gonna use the brush for this one, and I'm just gonna loosely mask what I want to see it replace. And in this case, I want it to replace the cigarette. I don't have a image that I want to place here, so I'm actually going to use this. So I'm going to try to replace the cigarette with a dog chew toy. I'm just coming up with these on the fly, guys. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's give it a shot. I hit the generate button and it is going. And you know what? Just since these are generating anyway, let's try one more. And I'm going to go back to this van that I used in one of the earlier references. So what I'm going to ask it to do is replace this van with this image of a burger. And I'm just going to write what I want it to replace in this text box here, van. Replace it with this image, which is an image of a burger. And I'll just add this to a little bit of additional description. So I'm going to say replace van with a giant burger. And the only benefit that this prompt box does is maybe I can specify that it's a giant burger instead of maybe a little burger. I'm not sure if that actually helps. Let's hit generate. And while that's generating, we can see our first video just completed. And so this was the one to replace the shirt with this t-shirt. Now, it did a good job replacing the shirt, but it actually also took out the phone. So now he's just kind of like looking at his hand, which is not great. It actually did a pretty good job with the shirt. There's a little bit of artifacts on the text up here, but the overall shirt did get replaced. Unfortunately, we lost the phone, which is kind of sad. Maybe the phone and the shirt color was too similar, and his hand doesn't look great without that phone being there. So, um, almost a good swap, not the best. Maybe like a 5 out of 10. The shirt looks good though. See this cigarette? I had him replace this cigarette with a dog chew toy. Um, I mean, I guess the term dog chew toy is kind of vague. Maybe that's a dog chew toy. I don't know, but it did a good job of replacing the cigarette with something that kind of might be a toy. I guess maybe I should have uploaded a picture of a toy or something like that. That would have been a little bit um, better. But it overall, this it did a good job. You know, it replaced it with something vaguely like what I was asking for, and you don't see the cigarette anymore. There's no flickering. There's no um, artifacting, anything like that. I might reuse that stock image though. Onto our burger. So this is a really good job. So I really like this one. We took the van out completely, and we have this double burger here now, like maybe like two giant sliders. Did a great job with adding the shadowing and still matching the parallax in the background. You can faintly see some of the outline of the van, like if you look really closely, but on a quick glance, it did what I was hoping it would do. So this is a pretty good job. This is probably the most successful out of the three, and I would give this a 8 or 9 out of 10. It's just if it didn't have this artifacting on the side that kind of still looked like the van, it would have been perfect. So great job over here. Pikaswaps is really powerful, really fun. Okay, while we're still on Pikaswaps, you can also replace something larger than just a very specific part of the video. So in this case, I want to modify the entire background. So I'm going to describe background completely. And instead of this specific vision, I'll use a text prompt. So I'm going to say replace background with a beach. That's generating now. But I'll use the same video, which is already uploaded here, and I will, instead of saying replace the background, I'll say replace the man. And I will replace him with a, so I'm going to replace the man with a futuristic cyborg ninja robot, cyberpunk style. Let's generate that. And I think the whole point of this staying up here is, let's say you want to create a video with a lot of cuts, but maybe like this guy's dancing, so maybe like every hard movement he does, he changes into something else, right? So you might want to use one video where he's a cyborg ninja, you do another one when he turns into, like, I don't know, a knight or like a dragon person or whatever you could describe, and then you can cut those up so that for every movement that he takes, he changes into a different character, and it will match the same camera movement and background. So this is a very useful thing for when you want to do quick cuts like that. Or maybe he, like, taps the ground or takes a step and it transforms him or the background, whatever you want it to be a cue for a change. This is a great way to just use the same video, upload a bunch of times, and you can change it every time. You just have to do a little bit of editing in post. Let's wait for these to finish and I'll show you what comes out. Okay, so those finished. Here we go. This is the one where we replaced the background. It did a great job replacing the background here. There is some shadowing from, like you can kind of see like a shadow image of him a little bit. But it did a really cool job adding the shadow. The shadow was not in before. The only other thing that would have made this even better would have been the if the footsteps in the sand was affected, that would have been pretty incredible. But the parallax works, the movement of the ocean works, the overall view works. Like, really nice for just a quick, like, little AI render, quick little 5-minute render. Here's the other version with where we replaced the entire main character but left the background. So again, we have some really fluid movement, at least like the head stays where it's supposed to be, the feet stay where it's supposed to be, the overall outfit is where it's supposed to be. There is a little bit of like shadowy artifacty things floating around him, like, right, some these beams of light, I guess, that kind of look like they're just appearing. So a little bit off. There's some blur around, I guess the glowy areas, which, it doesn't look super convincing, but overall pretty good. So both of these I would give them, really high. I would say they could be better, but for the most part they're pretty impressive. So like a nice 8 or 9 actually. The really cool thing about using the swaps though is you're getting a level of control that you don't really see in a lot of other AI tools. Like, you really have to go into like mocap style AI to get this kind of consistent movement and consistent character work. So this was really impressive to me. I also want to show you this one I had done previously where I'll put the original footage here too, but I swapped out Mermer for this tiger. It just said a tiger holding a ball. So, really fun things. It keeps her overall motion the same. It keeps her overall proportions the same. And when I compare this to what I've done with other AI video to video stuff, nothing even comes close. So this is a really, really awesome tool. If we come back to our homepage, we just did the Pikaswaps. PikaAdditions is another really powerful thing. And what PikaAdditions is, it'll take your video and then you're going to prompt for it to add something into the video. So I'll click PikaAdditions down here just to change it up. And same thing, you upload your video. So I'm uploading this video of the motorcycle driving from the driver's point of view. And we can add an image of what we want to see. And in the image that I want to upload, I'm going to upload this photo of these orcas jumping. And for my prompt, I'm just going to write whales swimming in the sky. Let's start generating that. Okay, so while that's going, I'm going to upload another one. This is a just a stock image, a stock video of this woman just kind of like it's kind of like panning towards her. In the image section, I'm going to add this falcon, and I'm going to say falcon sits on her shoulder. Let's see how that comes out. And here's another video of kind of this like a woman modeling during a photo shoot. And I'm going to upload this image to add in of a panda. I'm going to just say a panda joins her in the photo shoot. Let's wait until those finish. I'll upload this one, and then when they're done, I'll come back and we'll check out our results. Okay, so those just finished. Let's check out our results. It transitioned them from the top, which is not ideal. It would have been great if they were just kind of on the screen already, kind of flying over this thing. Maybe I could have prompted for that, but yeah, this one was it was okay. It's like maybe like a 3 or 4, not super believable in this scene. Here is the second one with the falcon. So I think the falcon looks cool. It just landed on her hair instead of her shoulders. So that may just be because of this style of hair, but it was close. Like I might reprompt that, try to get it more on the shoulder, or try to use, you know, maybe I would specify like it's on the blue shirt or something like that. Like try to get it more where it's supposed to be. But if this was in the right position, then it would have been a cool generation. But without that, it's kind of a miss. So it's like a 3. This one is probably the most successful. So this is the we're adding this panda into her shot. This one came out great. It looks like the pandas is in there with her in the scene. Um, Realistically, there's even a little bit of this light coming across. Actually, that goes behind the panda, so I don't know if the panda is affected by that light. Not, not really. No, the panda is not affected by the light. So, it's just around him is. So, but overall, this is a really cool generation. The the panda, the face is doing something kind of strange, like right here, like as soon as he sets the leaves down. Like I guess you can't see his mouth, so not like perfect, but it's believable, especially at first glance. So this one I would rate highly, maybe like a 9 or an 8. All right, so if we come back up to this tab, Selfies is a variation of the PikaAdditions, which is actually pretty interesting. It allows you to, I guess the intention is, so instead of adding a different object to the screen, you're adding a younger version of yourself with a video of yourself. So basically, like you're taking a selfie of yourself and then it generates, or you can put in a photo of a younger version of you, and you will appear as they will appear together as if they were in the same video. So we could do that right here. I'm gonna go to the selfie mode, and it's exactly the same setup as the PikaAdditions, but if you go to this make it yours template, um, you can see kind of a more clear um, interface. Let's do 2. Let's use this dancer again, and I'll have it generate. Let's see what we get with that, and I'll try a different one. All right, so I'll do a more traditional style one with it where it actually looks like it's a selfie, and we'll use this picture of this woman, and I'll ask it to generate, and we'll come back when we have the results. Okay, so those finished at about, both of them, maybe about 3 to 4 minutes each. Here's our first one. Yeah, we can see that this kid, he has similar hair. He's kind of got this guy's face. Um, pretty. That's a pretty close, like younger self running across as this guy's dancing in the background. See this other one? Again, like it's believable that this might be a younger version of her. Um, it doesn't interact great with whatever she's doing on this shirt. Yeah, so something a little weird going on, but overall, you kind of have the idea of what this you might be able to create with this. I think the intention is also you're supposed to take a selfie of yourself instead of using stock images, but this is what it can do. Probably the next most impressive tool is PikaScenes. It's pretty simple. You're gonna upload whatever references you want. It can be multiple images. It can be, I think you can do quite a few images actually. Um, and then you describe your scene in the prompt, and it'll generate that scene for you. So in this image, for example, let me pull up my. I uploaded the stock photo of this guy sitting on a bench and this panda, and the prompt I just had it man and panda sitting together on the bench, and here's my results. Pretty good. I mean, it looks a little bit. This kind of looks like a little bit like the scaling is not proper, so I guess it doesn't fully match. But I guess it's pretty good for a simple two image and a prompt. I tried another one here with just this woman as a reference and this falcon again, and this one was much better than the PidaAdditions. So um, I think where we were trying to add two images together, PikaScenes kind of is set up to if you just want to combine the two into a single video. This might be a better option for you know, um, certain image references. And then I tried to add more than one image. Sorry, I tried to add more than two images. And so this is three images. I actually wasn't expecting it to do vertical, but I think because my panda video was vertical and that might have been the first one I chose, it made a vertical image. But I uploaded the picture of this panda, a picture of our dog Mare Mare, and this burger, and the prompt is like panda and dog share a burger. So it went a little bit cartoony. And I actually wish it was horizontal because it would have framed the panda and dog much better. But you could kind of see where it was going with this. PikaFrames up here is you're pretty basic. You upload a reference image and an end reference image, and it's going to try to transition between the two. So we've seen this a lot in a lot of different AI video tools. You upload two images and it kind of tries to interpolate between the two. So for example, this one is I uploaded this reference of a coffee cup and this burger, and it asks you how you want your transition. I said I want it to spin and turn into the burger, so it gave me this. And that is a pretty, smooth transition. It can get a little bit awkward, so you are playing with Pika frames here. So you could set it to, how many frames and if you want it to loop and stuff like that. But basically your start and your end frame. Sometimes you can add things that are totally unrelated. So the coffee and the burger are kind of the same shape, but like I uploaded this woman holding her hand out and a random fantasy image here, and it does transition between the two. It does its best to kind of interpolate all the flames and the overall look, even though their faces are completely different. So it does what it can to interpolate between. Here's another one, two reference images that pretty much have nothing to do with each other. This panda and then this guy in a graphic tee. And it does its best. It zooms out. It kind of like implies that this guy comes in from camera right. I don't love how he just fades in. It actually would have been smoother if it just kind of zoomed out more and revealed him, but it does what it can to interpolate between the two. And we've seen this kind of interpolation again and again, and every engine handles it a little bit differently, but I think Pika is on the smoother side. It is um pretty fluid the way that it works. But I actually think the other tools are much more useful than this. Last up is PikaAffects. Now, PikaAffects it's interesting, but it's not very flexible. So it's not that it's it's very rigid in what it does. So, for example, you have these presets, all of these here, which there's a lot of presets, but um, basically you upload a photo, whatever your photo is, and it applies this effect to it, no matter what the photo is. So, in um, for example, this is a fairy tale me. It will add the Cinderella dress. Whatever you put into it, it will add this Snow White dress on top of it. So, for example, for me, I always liked Cakeify and Explode It. There's a bunch of other ones like presets, just poke it. Um, and it works like this. You upload this image like of a photo of the panda, and then it applies the same kind of this cake effect to it. And uploaded a if you uploaded this pasta in the tear it will tear it like this. So whatever you upload, it will apply this effect to. It will have the hands. It'll turn it into like a squishy thing, and then it'll tear it. The same with these. Whatever you have, if you have a picture photo of a dog, it'll add this hand in, and it'll just kind of poke and squish it. So to me, those are kind of fun if you want to play around with that specific look, but it's not that useful in terms of uh, trying to create something other than just whatever that particular effect is. So less useful, but still an option. And that's really it. We are all caught up with all of their current tools. The They have been releasing these tools steadily over the last couple of weeks. So it's very possible by the time you see this, there are more tools. They have been just constantly releasing new ones. But I think the the video tools that we're seeing now are really, really useful already. They're super powerful and they have a lot of potential in terms of control, directing your scene, controlling your look. And I really think that it's one of the most powerful video AI generation tools available right now. So with that, that'll be the end of our demo. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.